How's it going, guys? So this is probably gonna be the first video. We're tearing into the old International here. At the moment I just got oil draining. I got my socket and stuff there, and we're gonna take this hood off and get that taken off, and then I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna drop the new pistons in it, and then maybe, well, not sure which order, but we gotta do the clutch, put new pistons and sleeves in, that stuff. So we just gotta get it tore down at the moment. It was a little bit of a process, a little harder than the farm mall there. We got that rolled back a little bit and get this squished in. Hopefully still got room there for the truck. So yeah, see what kind of trouble I can get into. Yeah, start getting this hood off and everything there, and then the oil ought to be drained for now. By then, I'm just gonna let it drizzle there for a little bit, just because. All right, so we got the hood taken off here. Exhaust was still a little warm from, I literally just moved it here, so weren't too bad though. So this is gonna be a fun. Oh, I'm getting worried there's a wiring harness here, but I guess there's these wires here, but yeah, it's gonna be a little bit more of a process to get this tore apart. But so what I gotta do, we got this wiring harness here, which actually, well, I guess the wire for these wires here are for the original lights, which obviously does not have the original lights on it. But I've been kind of leaving them with the thought process that if I was to want to put the original lights back on it, these lights were on it when I bought it, but if I was to do that, then, you know, the wires would already be there. But what's honestly going to happen is probably this wire is just going to get cut and left. This wire, unwrapped some of this here, but we just have to unhook it from here from this, which honestly I want to put, one day I want to put an internally resisted coil on there instead of this external. But obviously we got the other lights, which just a plug there and plug here, and that's done. We got temperature gauge. The radio doesn't need to get drained, and oil pressure, and I think that's about it. Everything else is the same as the other tractor. So yeah, we'll get to work. I'll try getting, you know, this wiring harness and some of this stuff here unhooked and everything. So look at that yummy stuff. Obviously at the moment I'm draining the radiator, so I got everything else for the most part all taken apart, I believe. I mean, obviously just unbolting everything here, which there's 2 bolts on the back of the fuel tank, a bolt into the head, and some other wire. Well, that's separate. Okay, so yeah, there's just 2 bolts in there in the back of the head. Yeah, guess it's time to change this. So I'll get this drained out, and then I don't know what I'll do then. I know we got this stuff here needs to be unbolted and everything, so maybe we'll get everything unbolted from the head, and then that'll be set. So can't imagine there's much left in this radiator here. So yeah, I'll finish draining this and see what else I can find that needs to get unbolted. Alright, we had everything tore off. Now when we get around to it, we just gotta unbolt the head, and well, I guess we gotta unbolt the back of the fuel tank here, but I'll leave that till we're ready because it is pretty full of fuel. So yeah, everything's covered. It's very rusty looking, so I guess it's time for a good flush of the coolant system. So yeah. Yeah. Alright, so we got a bunch of this, everything should be off now and should be ready to pop the head off. We got everything unbolted back here, and the valve train and everything's off. All the head bolts are out. Intake manifold's off. Ended up having to take this top elbow here off the radiator. Otherwise I loosened up this here, and because I can't get that one bolt in there out on this piece to unbolt it from the head, so I gotta take it off with it on. So I just got my pry bar here. Want to stick it in here to try popping it free from this pipe, if it's gonna work, like so, which ended up not really popping it free from the pipe, but it freed it up everywhere else. So just gotta lift the head off here now, maybe, and provided that everything, yeah, that's what I thought we were gonna deal with. This little piece of pipes. There it goes. All right. Just need to work it a little. There we go. I want to sit down here and just see what it looks like on underneath. Oh wow. Just balance it there. Paper towel real quick before I touch the camera again. So, see how bad the water. The antifreeze and stuff. Doesn't look too bad as far as carbon. You can see all this from the water and everything. But yeah, the carbon, there isn't a whole, doesn't seem too bad. Seems like this valve here, right, might be sticking open a little. Maybe this one here. So we'll see how in depth I get. I might knock the valves out, and I have a little wire reel for like a drill or something, and I might hit the valves a little. I believe I have the seals for the valves, so I might drop them in. I mean, overall it doesn't look too bad. The pistons, and get this head gasket peeled off, but I mean, all in all, it ain't don't look too bad. But I mean, with these engines, they got sleeves, so the cylinder walls aren't a big deal, but there's a pretty good ring ridge. This one's not as bad. Yeah, that one's definitely there, but this one and this one isn't as well. It is a little, but I mean, as far as even carbon and stuff on this, it isn't terribly bad there either. So everything looks pretty decent. Not doing a complete engine tear down, so I do my best to try to keep stuff out of here. So what I gotta do now is unbolt this oil pan, and then probably drop the oil pump. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if I pulled off all this stuff here on the front, kind of open it up a little better and everything. So yeah, so we'll just drop the oil pan and oil pump, I guess, and see where we are at that point. All right, so we got the oil pan off, the oil pump out. Yeah, so I'm thinking that's gonna do it for this video. Next video we'll try getting. Part of me wants to do this clutch first. So we'll figure it out. Either we'll do the clutch or we'll be tearing into the motor. Yeah, so all we got to do is as far as the motor goes, we gotta just unbolt the pistons, pop them all out, pop the sleeves up out, which might be a bear. I don't know how that's gonna go, but and then just drop the new ones in and put it all back together. Shouldn't be too bad doing this clutch either. We'll see, I guess. Could go both ways. But yeah, so thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I appreciate you hanging around.